What's up, everybody? It's your boy Keefy. Monday night in the world, sometimes Tuesday elsewhere in the world, but I'm here bringing you another live stream. GhostCultMag.com is what we do, who we are, 24/7, 364. Music news, rock and metal mostly, but some other things, concert and festival reviews all over the world, interviews with bands. Probably checked out some of those if you're here on the YouTube. All good things. All good things. So, little spoiler warning, this is going to be a rare live review of a concert. I don't do enough of those. I wanted to do some more. And so, yeah, check out our website at ghostcultmag.com for all the things if you're interested. And we're going to do a live review, spoilers included, set list, maybe even a little video that I took of Nine Inch Nails. I was at the kickoff show for the North American leg of the Peel It Back tour. It was absolutely fucking incredible, I have to be honest. Spoiler alert, it's incredible. But if you're a fan, you knew that already. Harriot, what up, y'all? Good to see you. So, yeah, all kinds of fun and good things. We are streaming everywhere, but especially the best experience for this is going to be Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Instagram. If you want to see video and see my screen with the set list and stuff, you want to join us over there. I am also hanging out on TikTok. So feel free to hang out with us. This is a bonus live stream. I will do another one actually tomorrow, and our weekly show is every Thursday, the weekly Ritual Rock and Metal News show. So let's get into it and do the damn thing. And so, yeah, I made a little helper deck. We have not covered the tour formally, so I'm hoping later in the tour where we've applied to cover the tour and hopefully bring you actual concert photography and things like that. But we'll definitely get into the whole thing and talk about just all the things. It was an incredible experience. So really quick, just for starters, the Nine Inch Nails, if you didn't know, has been on tour. They did all of Europe, basically every major city in Europe for the Peel It Back tour, leg one. This is an unusually great tour from the band because they are kind of in between albums, right? They're going to put out this Tron Eras soundtrack, which they did play as the debut single off of in concert, or at least a remix of it. And the next time you see them, they're probably going to have a fuller album to promote, either the soundtrack, the video game soundtracks they're working on, the supposed new Nine Inch Nails record that we were told we might get later this year or early next year. So I'm stoked for this. And feel free to drop in your questions. Again, this is going to be spoilery, so I will make that announcement a few times. If you don't want to hear about the Nine Inch Nails tour, if you're going and you want to go in cold, don't listen any further, because I am going to drop trow on the whole thing, and I think you'll enjoy it, actually. I don't do a lot of these, and I'm hoping to now. So thanks for hanging out with us. Feel free to drop comments and check in and give us your thoughts. I have to say this was an incredible show. Will be a hard-pressed to see a better show for me this year, and I've already seen some bangers. I have mentioned a few times on our different live streams that I am, definitely going to less shows than I used to. So less is more. Oh, we're getting some comments here. Michael, you and Madden, you know. Alrighty. Cool and all that. Thanks for being here. So, yeah. Good times. Let's get into it a little bit and just talk about this tour. We did a Nine Inch Nails live stream a few months ago when they announced the Future Ruins Festival. Looked into that, and it was bananas, the ticket costs. So right this second, I would say I am probably not going to go to that, but I would love to, because I love composers, and I love soundtrack stuff, and I love all the Nine Inch Nails soundtrack stuff as well. I thought Challengers last year was one of the best things I had heard, and the vinyl version of that was phenomenal. And I'm really looking forward to Tron. I'm a huge sci-fi nerd. The Tron soundtrack comes out in September, which we'll talk about later in the show, and also ahead of more touring for Trent. So I think this is a pretty good run for him. Just a reminder, in case you're curious, we are not corporate backed. We do take in some advertising money from our affiliate partners and things like that, and some ads. But if you want to donate, feel free to drop a link, and I'll drop the content where you can drop us a tip. So let's embiggen this for a second. These are all the things. I normally plug this a little bit harder on the regular show on Thursday, but plugging it a little bit more now. And here is this bad boy. This is where you can find all our stuff. We update our link tree every day with all our things. So glad to have you here. That is the thing. So just a reminder, a little bit more housekeeping. On our other podcast, the Glacially Musical Podcast, which usually airs every Friday, we are in the midst of a series on Ozzy. It was already planned that we were going to do an Ozzy series for his solo career, but we are giving away bundles of vinyl and CDs, one each, and that contest is coming to a close soon. So you want to check that out. Hey, Issa's here. Nice to see you. Hopefully you are getting closer to your show and checking in. Let us know. You could DM me. So I'm just doing a live stream review of the 9 Inch Nails show. Again, there will be spoilers. So if you don't want it spoiled for you, check out now. If you want it, if you're okay with spoilers or you're curious, I think it will be helpful. Obviously, the big news leading into the tour, literally the tour ended, and Elon Rubin was reported by Variety that he had quit 9 Inch Nails and he had been contracted to do the next leg of the tour. I know his wife is imminently about to give birth. So, maybe there was something to do with that if he got to sort of, take a paycheck from Foo Fighters, who are apparently his new band, and they're not going to have a show for a few more months. So maybe it was an opportunity for him to be with his wife, which, family first always. The music industry is not fun or, easy or cheap to do. And then Josh Breeze just welcomed back with a social media post. Let's fucking go. Now, I don't know if they had already contacted Josh. I talked a bit about this previously on another live stream where I said, maybe Josh was going to come fill in anyway. He was fired by Foo Fighters back in the spring. Still scratching our heads about that one. Looks like Elon is going to be the new drummer for Foo Fighters. So I know a lot of people liken this to a sports trade. It's not exactly a one-for-one, but, obviously Josh had been in 9 Inch Nails from 2005. His last show actually with the band was December 2008, which is wild if you think about it. But absolutely excited to have him back. The crowd was excited to have Josh back, and I will tell you about that. I was personally excited. Josh is a crushing, awesome drummer. I've seen him with Devo. I've seen him with Vandals. I saw him with A Perfect Circle a few times, and I had seen him with 9 Inch Nails once before. So, we've covered the band for years and years. Obviously, I've been a fan much longer than Ghost Cult has been around. 9 Inch Nails has been around. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame a couple of years ago. We've covered them at tours and festivals and things like that across the world. So I'm always, grateful to get to see them. I went to this tour. A ticket was bought for me by my wonderful girlfriend, Melissa. And, life is not about material things, but when a person gets you and knows you, they make things happen to make you happy. So this was amazing. I'm glad I got to go. It was awesome. I went with my friend Lori here from San Francisco, one of my regular concert buddies. So yeah, these are just some photos we've shot of 9 Inch Nails over the years, and hopefully there'll be some more. There's Atticus. You saw some pictures of Trent if you were on the StreamYard channels. These are all pretty great photos. We use them. You've seen them. So just really quick, this was my view of the start of the show. So just really quickly, I live in San Francisco. Oakland Arena is a short train ride away. We took the train over to Oakland. Then it's about a mile walk by the old baseball stadium where the A's used to play. And then the arena is next to the baseball stadium, around the corner from the Oakland Coliseum. It's also where the Raiders played for a long time. for you Bay Area and sports people. But it's quite a bit of a long walk around the one facility to the other. But honestly, I went very early, and getting through was mad easy. To be honest with you, it was a pretty quick and painless process to get through. Um, was happy that this is one of the venues where my phone worked and there wasn't a lack of cell phone coverage. So it was pretty cool. And again, it seemed like a lot of people, it's good for people watching. A lot of people had come out, some old goths, some younger fans, some parents with their kids, but no real little kids. Um, generally speaking, Oakland arenas, and I've never been, but it was now I have. It was a very nice venue. It seemed pretty modern. It's technically the Oracle Arena in Oakland. Oracle also is the name of the baseball stadium here in San Francisco for the Giants. Hey, Kenneth is here. What's up, Kenneth? And Lori is here. Lori Chamberlain. So thanks for being here. Elrod, Carter, Q, Cruz, all y'all. Thank you. So I got in. It's pretty steep to go climb up to the seats. I had what I consider to be a very good view in the corner there. Beautiful sound, more or less, except for a few technical issues I'll talk about. And it was a very creative show, and I'll get into that really deeply about how wildly creative this show was. Because it really was, like, every show I've ever seen Nine Inch Nails has been at least excellent, but visually, this is a band that is, one of the best in the world to do it. And I will say the last 3 or 4 times that I've seen Nine Inch Nails happens to coincide with Trent's sobriety the last 10 to 15 years. And those shows are so much better than even the earlier ones that I had seen. Like Woodstock 94 was insane, but you knew the band was like absolutely out of their mind on whatever. So yeah, wild stuff. So I wanted to get to this point in the show, and before I do the set list and things like that, let me set the stage for you. So Boys Noise was the opener. I was moderately familiar with them. Trent is obviously a huge fan. These are bands that are, nobody is buying on to play Nine Inch Nails. You're on the tour because he wants you to be there. He's clearly a fan. They admire each other's work. He's remixed them. They've remixed him. So we were sitting facing the stage, and the stage is covered with a big curtain. And then there's this smaller, what I found out to be a smaller stage. And this is the spoilery part of the video here. So again, if you're into it, cool. If you're not, I hate spoilers myself, and I don't want to spoil anything for anybody if you don't want it to be spoiled. But on the other hand, I think it's super interesting to talk about this setting the bar for a lot of tours the rest of this year. So there was a smaller stage that was covered by this, this square box curtain, and Boys Noise was playing from within the square. And what I think happened is the audience around the square and facing the square with their backs to the stage, they were able to watch them. I was not able to really see them, but we heard them. And interestingly enough, they played for a full hour, almost a whole hour, just straight up. Didn't talk to the crowd, just jammed, which was fun. DJ playing basically synthwave and hard electronic music live. And some of the songs seemed familiar, and it turned out that some of them were very familiar. It was a very heavy set on originals and covers, which is fun. I think it kind of reminded me of an MTV Unplugged set where the artists always, would show you who their influences are by covering a lot of bands, which I thought was hella interesting. Yo, what's up, Ken? Appreciate you, Kenneth. So, it was a really interesting and cool set, to be honest with you. I think it was very well constructed, and I'll talk about their set list in a second. And then basically that box that covered the stage came up, and it was only like a couple of minutes changeover before Nine Inch Nails came on. So before I do anything else, let's talk about the set list. I have the Nine Inch Nails set list here, but what I'm going to do is first bring up the Boys Noise set list and just run through it quick in case you're a fan. You might be a fan. Let's find out. So yeah, here's the Boys Noise set here. You can watch this now. You should be seeing it. Um, so the Boys Noise set list, they came out. I immediately recognized Hamburger Lady from Throbbing Grizzle. I'm a huge fan. So that was on tape. And it was pretty loud, and the lights came down, and it was just all this red. And for a long time, it was just solid red and a pummeling of industrial and hard beats. So they opened up with their originals: Greenpoint, Girl Crush, Close, and Revolt. I feel like Greenpoint and Girl Crush are also their two best known songs. Take My Breath, they did a little cover of The Weeknd. I wasn't really familiar with the song, but it was cool. People did seem to acknowledge it. A split second cover was done next by the song Flesh, Voices from Neon, Fortify by Curses, Fatal Error, self-titled song. Usually a song name for a band is not as good. Rat Salad Review, pass by, what up, what up. And then Waiting for a Surprise, which was a Red Axis cover, a few more originals, Curses, a Trent and Atticus song, I Know, a Nitzareb cover, and just lost Nitzareb vocalist Doug McCarthy, Megacore for Pulse Rider, and a couple of other things. So a very long set, like 18 songs in about 50 minutes, 55 minutes that they played. And it was really barely a changeover, to be honest with you. It was pretty startling. But again, then we got back, like the lights went down for just a few seconds, and the light, sort of a spotlight was on the little B stage, and it turned out to be Trent, just alone with a keyboard. And he came out, was really surprising. I think people were caught off guard that he just started the show just solo piano and himself, kind of the way he started Nine Inch Nails, to be honest with you. And he says often that he often thought that he might just never make it in other music and just be a composer. And obviously Nine Inch Nails opened up a lot of doors for him, which is wild. But yeah, so Trent comes out alone. I think people were so stunned. The majority of people were not filming. There was only a smattering of cameras through the phones, cameras through the venue. Most people were just like, what is happening? He's just up there by himself, Elton Johning and Billy Joeling this thing. But it was amazing, actually, to be honest with you. It was a really interesting and clever choice. And the back bigger stage was kind of smoky and covered with lights and still with the big curtain. And Trent started out, and I'll share this screen here again, with the Nine Inch Nails set list. And again, spoilers for the Nine Inch Nails set list in Oakland and this tour. I know they did a slightly different set list every night in Europe, and it seems like they are playing different songs. But this is, like they're doing the set list in stages, Nine Inch Nails. So there's a small the B stage with the smaller stage, and then the main stage, and then back to the B stage, and then back to the main stage. So he opened up with a Right Where It Belongs acoustic piano version with a little Somewhat Damaged in there at the outro. Then he did like 3/4 of the song Ruiner, which is one of the most raw and awesome songs on the Downward Spiral, which turned 30 last year. Hard to believe. And Electric Wizard, what up? Karate Steve Band, what up? Rat Salad Reviews and Skull Basher, what up, what up? Good to see you all. Everybody's chiming in and checking it out. And so, pretty wild set list here. So we're going to talk about this set list now. Because I'm personally, like, I'm amazed, frankly, about this set list. So let's see. Yeah, so the whole set list, just so you can get a flavor for it, started with Right Where It Belongs, did this acoustic version of Ruiner, and then kind of by the end of Ruiner, it became the Ruiner we all know. And then Piggy was also like a little bit dynamic, where it was soft, and then obviously, has a creepy, sinister part to it that was really fantastic. And then he just ended up going to the bigger stage, and the curtain came up, and they came on full bore with Wish. and it was pretty incredible. The second set of the songs were clearly heavier, clearly meant to showcase the band. I mean, Wish just rips. Josh just thundered away. I think Elon Rubin is an incredible drummer also, but just really amazing job by Josh. So then they followed with Wish, March of the Pigs, Reptile, Heresy, Copy of A, which is a great song, and Gave Up. These are just unbelievable bangers all in a row. And then there was, he talked a little bit to the crowd, just how you doing, how's everybody feeling, thanks for coming, and didn't talk too much the rest of the show, just here and there. And then they popped back up on the B stage, and which I found super interesting. The B stage, he was joined by Boys Noise for like a mini set with them. So they played Vessel, As Alive as You Need Me to Be, which was kind of like an extended remix of the track with Boys Noise. That's the Tron Ares song, which has got very OG Nine Inch Nails vibes. And then this really cool kind of like a live remix of Sin from Pretty Hate Machine, along with the Boys Noise song Cerebral. So they were kind of like going at the same time. And then toward the end of the song, some water just spilled on Trent, like he got doused, his keyboard and him. So it's kind of actually really interesting. He was like, "What is happening? I just got soaked with water. Is there a toilet up there?" It's pretty funny. I think it was just kind of like an air conditioning runoff, because it's been so hot in the East Bay of late. It has not been hot at all here in San Francisco. Nice and cool. He did have some microphone issues during the show. Occasionally his mic cut out, but there was a very nice job of sort of backup singing by the other members of the band and himself. I will play a little bit of this Sin remix from a video I have. We'll see if you guys enjoy it. And then also Came Back Haunted with Boys Noise. And then he left and he hit the main stage, which I will bring back and talk about the end of the set list in a little while. But yeah, let's just for a second, let's see if I can call up this video that I have. And I may at some point upload it. I should have had this video ready, but I didn't. But this is the only full song I videoed. I wanted to really be present and watch the show. So unfortunately, you guys on TikTok are not seeing this, but everybody else is going to see kind of what this mini stage looks like in front of the big stage. So we didn't really know it was the song Sin until we heard the sample at the beginning. This is just absolutely stunning. You can hear the crowd acknowledging what the song is and cheering along. Pretty fun. I'll just watch this for a second. You can kind of see when the smaller stage is illuminated, there's videographers all over the arena and the stage streaming the live video on the big canvas of the stage and the screen. The band is up there also kind of playing at different times, but this is just Boys Noise and Trent here at the bottom of the image. So you can hear him singing it now. Recognize. So good, man. This is kind of a fun treat for fans to get this kind of version of the song. I thought this was hella good. And you can see kind of, again, there's like so much going on. Multiple lighting sources. The sound was actually pretty immaculate. Obviously, the cell phone video is not going to do it justice, but there was sometimes you couldn't tell if it was a projection, if it was smoke and lights. That was so creative and interesting, and I really liked this Boys Noise set. Like, I really thought this mini set with Trent and Boys Noise was a lot of fun. Trent and Atticus, by the way, both on stage with Boys Noise, so that was really cool. And again, occasionally there was some audible problems with Trent's mic, and obviously him getting wet or what doused with water. That kind of sucked for him, but he was pretty funny. And after the Boys Noise set, to uh, he went back to the big stage. Kenneth, this is actually live on YouTube as well right now. That's the best experience for this is YouTube and Twitch and stuff. But Instagram has the small version. So if you want to come over and see what I showed, I'm not trying to get demonetized, but I am trying to share my experience with everybody. So again, he rejoined the big stage, and then again, he went basically all bangers to the end of the set. So let's just look at the set list one more time. And so the end of the set comes up after the Boys Noise break of 4 songs. It wasn't really an intermission or anything. And they came back with Somewhat Damaged, Less Than, a very long version of Closer with the only time in the breakdown in the middle. I also kind of thought I heard a little bit of That's What I Get in there. I'm not sure if it was formally That's What I Get, but it sounded like it, the sample and the singing. The Perfect Drug, which is an absolute banger and a really difficult song kind of to do breath-wise, is so wordy and verbose that I think that it's a really challenging song to do live. Also, The Hand That Feeds, so amazing. And then closing out with Head Like a Hole and Hurt, of course. And the final closing song, sort of the walk-off tape, is Laura Palmer's theme from Twin Peaks by Angelo Badalamenti, who is clearly an inspiration to Trent and worked with Angelo on Lost Highway. And just a phenomenal set list, right? 20 songs, basically. The stuff I know that you could probably put a set list together of stuff that was left out, but it's mostly from the Downward Spiral and Pretty Hate Machine, with every other record represented a little bit, including the Tron Eris song. So it was kind of, really cool, except for Ghosts and those records. Not everything was represented, but pretty amazing, I have to say. And again, it was pretty amusing when Trent introduced the band, which his band, hey, Dread 822K7, hopefully this spoiler review doesn't spoil it for you. Mike Fonseca's passing by. Tell me, oh yeah, we're big David Lynch people and big Twin Peaks people here at Ghost Cole. Tell me, like, if you're going to go see a show, do you watch live videos? I know right now it's very controversial. People who I videoed that one whole song and a couple of other snippets, but I really didn't take my phone out too much during the show. I really was present and enjoyed myself. We're covering Ghost tonight in Phoenix, and that's a no phones experience, even though people are still ripping open those pouches. Maynard James Keenan has said he doesn't like people with their phones, but I really felt like for a good portion of the show, people were really present and not on their phones. It seemed like not as many people as I expected were on their phones. One interesting thing about the venue is they kept running out of the good beer. They kept running out of craft beer. My friend went to get beer, and it took them 45 minutes to get a beer. And even, like we're talking about Lagunitas, I don't really want to spend arena beer prices on a Coors Light or a Modelo, but if that's your thing, cool. But I don't know if you do your homework before you go see a show and listen to music and watch videos and look at the set list. And, I didn't look at the set list before I saw it. I had been looking at the set lists in Europe as a comparison, and they are similar. But yeah, Trent introduced the band, which, in case you didn't know, of course, Trent and Atticus Ross are really the only permanent members now of Nine Inch Nails. And so in addition to Josh, who we've talked a lot about, and I'll talk about him one more time in a second because he was really phenomenal, obviously Robin Fink and Alessandro Cortini have been with the band for a very long time, including overlapping the time Josh was in before, briefly. So he has had, obviously Atticus has been in the band since 2016 live. Robin and Alessandro have been touring consistently since 2013 and parts before that. And obviously Josh was in from 2005 to 2008, and now he's back. And when he introduced the whole band, people were, cheering and such. And when Josh was announced, like, the whole place erupted in a cheer for 2 solid minutes, which, I think is super interesting that, Josh was highlighted like that. I think it was really nice, honestly. Um, so, it was an incredible show. Again, the sound was pretty great. The visuals were stunning, probably some of the best visuals I've seen in years. And I always say that Nine Inch Nails is one of those bands that it really sets the bar for a visual concert experience. It's not just all these great songs that are meaningful and bangers and all this other stuff, and this really trying to create this really great curated show. Visually, it is an astounding show. Like whatever the tickets cost, it's worth it. The high production value. Merch was okay. I will upload a merch video later on tonight or tomorrow. It was all right. It was pretty pricey for, a Live Nation arena venue, and I didn't need to have anything that was there. I had some dad hats. They had long sleeve and short sleeve shirts. Short sleeve shirts for about $45, only 2 variations, red and black with the tour dates. That a long sleeve that was like, I'm going to say $65, and hoodies were $90, and they were both pullover hoodies, which I only like zip up hoodies. But that's just me personally. There was a tote bag for $30. There was a few other tchotchkes and this and that, but not really a great amount of merch. But maybe they sold most of it in Europe and they don't have a lot for the U.S. tour. But it seemed like they had a ton of stuff. I just didn't love the selection. I don't know. But yeah, just to keep it 100 on the Nine Inch Nails stuff, I am really, like I said, it was really well done. Like, really well done, surprisingly so. So just really quick. So we have what's coming up for Nine Inch Nails. This tour, Tron Era's soundtrack, Tron Era's movie. So I think that's a lot of things to get excited about. This Future Ruins Festival, again, is taking place in November at the Equestrian Center in Los Angeles. And it's all composers, and we're not 100% sure what Trent and Atticus are going to do visually or musically, but it's art and music. I mean, Danny Elfman, Goblin, Howard Shore, who has never really performed live, John Carpenter, Kyle Dixon, and Michael Stein, Mark Mothersbaugh of Devo, Questlove doing the Superfly soundtrack with a band and maybe an orchestra. Volker Breilman and Hauschka, Terrence Blanchard, who has also really only done limited conducting and things like this. So this is really cool, and I think is probably worth going to see. And then, like I said, Tron Eras is coming out. The soundtrack comes out 9/19, the week of my birth, and then the Tron Eras movie is coming out in October. And there was a preview of it at Comic-Con this last weekend. So again, here's the Peel It Back tour. If you have a chance to go, definitely go see it. Hopefully, we will get lucky enough to cover the tour formally with a concert review and photographs. I may yet add this kind of review to our website with a little write-up. But I'm really glad I got to go. Thanks again to my girl, Melissa. Love you. Thank you. And what an incredible time to be alive that we have this Nine Inch Nails tour that is really a lot of deep cuts and interesting stuff. Like, it's not, a lot of other bands just run paint by numbers. Obviously, Head Like a Hole and Hurt and Closer are in there. I think there's been shows where Closer is played toward the beginning of the set. I think there were shows in Europe, but basically everything else can change, but Head Like a Hole and Hurt are always your closers. And just a phenomenal experience for me personally. That's it for now. We'll be back tomorrow with another live stream. I have a special surprise live stream tomorrow for you guys. Not a surprise, but what the topic is going to be a surprise. And then we do our regular weekly live stream every Thursday. Please tune in. Check us out at ghostcultmag.com. Check out our Linktree. Check out our socials. Thanks for being here. I often say you could spend your time with anyone, but if you spent it with us, I'm really happy about that. Kenneth, thanks for tuning in. All the regulars. Dre Day 2K7, thank you. Enjoy yourself at the show. Be safe. Have a great time. And we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for being here. I'm Keefy at ghostcultmag.com, and I am out. Peace.